I saw, who was it? One of our friends, a sports writer, I'm forgetting which one it is, so I don't want to say the wrong guy, tweeted like, man, I'd love to have John King's Venmo because I'd love to buy that guy a beer. And I want to quote tweet it with like,
I'd love to pay for Chris Cuomo's bail.
I want to say like I'd like to pay for Chris Cuomo's cocaine.
Brunch.
Hit it, boys!
A very important event has come and gone. The NFL trade deadline.
I knew it.
Check that out. What do you think of that joke?
Pretty good.
It's a
pretty
bar,
good.
but you just made it up myself.
Lucky you didn't make it on Twitter, or else people would have called you insensitive, and Deadspin would have wrote an article about it.
I don't think people would have called me insensitive. I think one insane place would have been like, see? Stupid. But I don't know. I was going to say we have a new president. We really don't. We kept putting off when we were going to record because we were like, should we wait until we know who the president is? Also, I don't know. Like I haven't been sleeping at all this week. It's a real mess. But I guess we're going to talk president election. Really, it's mainly just going to be CNN talk. But Ellen is here. What up, Ellen?
I'm here.
More
importantly, not more importantly, but
I'm also here.
Right, like. We're all here.
We're all in the same room.
Place.
And it's the first episode recorded at the new place.
That's right.
We got a nice little new podcast studio at the old house in Quincy, and we've been here for like a month and a half, and we just haven't recorded an episode.
Haven't been in this room.
Nope.
Well, it seems smart to do it now because, I don't know, probably our last chance before shit hits the fan again.
Yep.
This week has been a little reprieve from... like constant, the world is going to hell and COVID's getting bad again. But like in the meantime, no, like I mean like COVID wise.
Yeah, it's just
right.
It's just been shifting. Like the world is ending in one way to shifting the world is ending in a different way.
Yeah, we did reach like an all-time high.
So that's COVID. The thing. Like in the meantime, like COVID been in the gym this week when we've been talking about everything else. COVID has been doing pull-ups, doing flies, the whole nine.
And like meanwhile, a lot of the people who like think it's a hoax were like, so what happened to COVID?
I saw who is that?
Aubrey Huff.
Idiot. That's gonna happen.
Fucking moron.
Wasn't there an idiot Rangers player who I've never heard of?
Tony D'Angelo.
Okay,
the defenseman who happens to get walked by Sebastian Aho in the playoffs.
Oh, that was him?
Yes.
Oh, well, I absolutely love that. What did he tweet? He's like, I guess COVID just went away.
He's like, what happened to COVID-19 over the past 48 hours? It's like, it's been a presidential election that people are talking about.
Yo, I got so mad. I don't know if you know this guy. I kind of forget his name, TBH. But he used to kind of cover the Bruins, and I knew him. And he was a nice enough guy. And I don't know. Like, I don't want to think that anyone's a dick or a bad person, and maybe this person isn't a dick or a bad person, but enough things kind of mounted where I'm like, there's a good chance this guy's kind of a dick. And during the ice bucket challenge, he was like, "This is so stupid."
Oh,
everyone like, and he's like, "Dumping water on your head isn't going to help anything." And I'm like, "Well, like if you're donating money and then telling people to donate money, it is." But shortly after that, Ice Bucket Challenge was in the summer, right? And in the fall, Robin Williams killed himself. Mm-hmm. Seems like a correctish timeline.
Yeah.
As soon as Robin Williams killed himself, this guy tweeted out, and I don't want to like drag this guy or anything. Maybe he's nicer now and he was just having a bad day or something. But he tweeted.
He had a bad day for a few months.
Yeah, I think like he had a bad day in most of the time I knew him. He tweeted.
Guess we're not doing the Ice Bucket Challenge anymore.
I think he was like. So is it time to dump water on our heads for depression now?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I think I responded to his tweet. I was like, you are a fucking asshole, dude. Like, I don't know why I said asshole that way. I just said asshole.
Asshole?
Asshole, yeah.
Well.
I'm going to pull a Chris Cuomo now and say, De La Soul once said, it ain't my fault. It ain't my fault your ass is on the asphalt. And that's probably my favorite line in a rap song ever.
That's pretty cool.
It ain't my fault your ass is on the asphalt. Mm-hmm. It kind of checks a lot of boxes. We haven't talked about the actual president yet, or the race or anything.
Nope.
But you said we've had different experiences.
Oh my god!
And I know that's true.
Could not be more different.
I know that's true
Obviously.
because I usually text you throughout the day all the time, and instead, Ellen's like probably the person I know most whose number I don't actually have. So instead of texting you constantly, I've just been DMing Ellen constantly
It's nice
about
because no one else
election
DMs
stuff.
me. So.
Really? Yeah. I was gonna say no one else DMs me, but I don't know.
That's
Pete,
not
are
true.
my
That's
DMs
not true.
open?
You had the pay pig guy.
Oh, yeah, I did get a DM last night on Instagram.
Okay.
Wait, I actually would like to read this, so now I need to pick up the phone. It was from a nice gentleman who saw my tweet.
You're gonna have to speak closer to the mic.
Who saw my tweet, and was it not my tweet? It was on a...
Hey, saw your tweet. That's how it always starts.
That's
Whatever.
not
Start
usually
of
good.
every
Not
love
usually
story.
good news when that's the opener
That's
for
That's
me.
how every meeting with my boss goes.
Exactly.
No, he saw my tweet about the millionaire story and then DM'd me and said, and his name is John J. the Pay Pig, and
Hell
said,
yeah.
can't match $1 million, but I'd be happy to send 100 here or there if you're interested. Ha 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 ha. And then his bio is relapsing pay pig, tried to stay away from findom, but my addiction has me craving more. And then his first pinned tweet is about feet, and he'll pay for feet.
Okay, so I don't know the term for this. Have we
Pay
ever
pig?
talked about this? Is pay pig like a slang for it? But there is.
I think I learned that in Euphoria.
There
Yeah,
is a
same.
thing of. I think it's typically dudes who they like get off on
giving money away.
going broke.
Yes.
Just giving money to
Yeah.
women.
They like get off on like being like financially dominated by
Yeah,
women.
he-
Right.
Findom.
The first pinned tweet is, if you are a beautiful girl with divine feet and you know you deserve to be worshipped by loser guys who have no chance with you in real life, let me know so I can give you money. Which like doesn't really sound like that bad of a deal.
That's what I said. I said, do it, please.
Take advantage of it. I mean, we're not so like I like getting financially dominated by like merch gear.
Yeah, not by women, just like by my interests.
Dominate me gear.
I like that. We both,
Fuck me up microphone.
well, I said, not by women, by my interests.
Yeah.
So
It's a good that fits in with like the
It's
overall
very
theme
on
of the
brand,
podcast.
yes.
We've still never really talked about women. Unless we've been like stop being a dick to women. But I
Yeah.
don't think we've ever really been like oh, no, one time we were like, we're both huge fans of Jenny Slate.
You talked about Zoe Deschanel for a while too.
yeah, but
Well,
it wasn't
yeah.
like it was like more of like a study of Zoe Deschanel.
Right. Pete went deep on 500 Days of Summer and the various assholes. And I
Yes.
quite enjoyed that. And what wasn't the biggest asshole? Just the dude at the bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you think that you think of all the characters, you probably think it's gonna be, I don't know, like that dick at the bar. But let's go blow by blow, see who the biggest asshole in it is. We've concluded
2,000
it's
words later,
dick
it's
at the bar.
dick at the bar, yes.
Oh my God.
Whose name in the credits is literally like douche.
Douche? Is it
Yeah,
douche? Yeah.
Douche.
Yeah.
Wow, that sucks.
Summer
mean-
handles that situation flawlessly too.
Yeah.
Tom doesn't.
No, definitely not.
I don't remember this at all.
They're at a bar and they're just really trying to hold on to anything. Like they're making small talk. Summer's not really caring about it, and she makes a joke about like I'm going to get a tattoo. He says no, and it just shows like the chemistry that they lack.
Yeah.
It's not great. And then a guy comes over and he's like, "Hey,
Let me buy you a drink.
I've never seen you around here." She's like, "Well, I come here sometimes." What'd you say? Well, yeah. Then you're not too observant.
Yes, yeah.
And she's like being like, hey, like at one point she says like, hey, like it seems like you want to talk to me. I'm flattered. No,
here with
thank
my
you.
boyfriend.
Not interested. Right. And then
And
he
he
says,
just like looks at he's like this guy. He like literally goes in between them, and she's like, "I'm here with somebody," and he's like, "This guy, come on."
yeah. And then Tom gives like a very sad like, buddy, come on.
Yeah,
And the guy's like, yo, Tom, all two of the other people in this conversation don't like you.
and he wasn't wrong.
He's like, yo, I'm new to this movie, but no one really likes you, dude.
I'm new to this movie, but I got it down. I
That's
got the
a
whole
good
story.
question.
On.
Who in the movie likes Tom? I mean, like, I feel bad for Tom. Tom's not like I don't know,
Tom's
Tom's
sister.
sister. That's
Tom's
yes.
right, but I think she might also get
She
off
might be
on
sick
just
of his
like
shit.
I think that she likes helping people.
Yeah.
You know?
Like she would have to like take a while to decide whether she would help him or like some guy on the side of the road.
Totally.
Depending on the situation.
Tom is a patient of hers.
Yes. He's a client.
Mackenzie, you know what? I think his doctor friend likes him. The guy that's in.
Well, that guy likes everybody.
Right. He seems
He's
like
just the nicest guy.
thoroughly good dude.
Yeah.
Although
he has like the high school sweetheart that he's been with.
Yeah.
That guy is just like a real genuine guy.
I mean, he talks like a douche in that little clip. You know what I'm talking about? When
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I don't know, maybe like my dream girl would like have like a bodacious rack or something, but so and so is better than my dream girl. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you got back from it. you were. I almost turned off the movie at bodacious rack, and then you got Mackenzie,
who's just the worst.
but he's proud to be an American.
God.
I love that scene. I'm proud to be. Are y'all proud to be an American right now?
I am.
You always are though.
I love America.
You always have like
I love
faith.
Our country.
You're one of the good guys.
She always
who-
keeps the faith.
You're a good guy who loves the country, and it's so weird, like the things that have been taken from the good guys by the bad guys,
Like
such
loving the
as
country?
like declaring your love for the country and being like, "Hey, I believe in all of us. We can do this together. Like, let's listen, let's grow, let's be the best country in the world." And then like when you say that last part, like for me, like if I hear that last part, I'm like, let's be the best country in the world. That sounds like
That sounds like
that sounds very MAGA,
yeah, it does.
and like you hate the people in the country.
yeah, it's that also I mean like now I feel like it's conflated with like let's make us the best country in the world by like keeping everybody else out.
but that's
Right.
only been the past 4 years.
Right, but that's been taken and over the past 4 years.
I-
We've talked about this before. Like, I feel like the American flag's been taken.
That's a fucking sucky loss for
Yeah.
us.
I don't believe that at all.
Well, not, like,
So that's what I'm saying.
It has been.
You will still fly it and everything. So would I. Like I would put an American flag thing on my car or whatever.
but that
it's
is like a
just so
telltale
associated
sign
with-
of
right.
like, yeah. Usually, it's accompanied by like a Trump flag,
Right. Yo,
on a truck that's like 5 inches too high.
I'll tell you what, like flags, and not like the little like flaglet things that you put in like the top of the window or whatever, like full ass flags that just say the name of the president.
It's weird.
That
It's
is
weird.
fucking
It's very
rough,
weird.
dude.
So I said this. Because they had that like car highway rally for Trump in Arizona or whatever it
If
was.
you ever left the apartment, you would have seen like a pickup truck every single day with a Trump.
No, I mean I have walking the dog. But
one time.
There are a lot of Trump supporters around the neighborhood.
Yeah, there are.
Like somebody posted the video of that, and I literally like responded. I was like, it is so fucking weird that people now treat like their candidate like a sports team.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be that. Like people are very much like, I'm all in on this person, or I'm all in on this
Right.
thing. And it's like you don't have to like fully choose one side to root for.
yeah.
It's a weird thing.
Well, that's like why there's two parties.
Yeah, but like the parties shouldn't be treated like a sports team.
right.
Like at the end of the day, like I do genuinely feel like you shouldn't have to care who wins, as long as like who wins the game, like who wins the election, as long as like it's a good result for the country.
right.
Right, but like we also haven't been alive for that many presidential elections. Like if you think, I mean, we have been, but not like really involved. I mean, Obama was there for 8 years, and then we had George H.W. Like, who was the first person you voted for, or like first election?
First person I voted for was Obama's first term.
Okay, so like that's not that long ago.
Yeah.
Everyone used to be like, "Oh, that sucks," or like, "Oh, I wish a Democrat got in," or like, "This is not normal."
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's what it's become. Like recently, it has become like rooting for like a sports outcome.
But I think that there has always been like whether like we like Ike or like John F. Kennedy was like
Sure,
these
like,
people had like their.
I'm not saying that you like
stands.
don't support a candidate, but I'm saying like you. It's very weird, and it's become like pretty recent that like people are fucking rabid fans of a candidate.
Oh yeah, I don't know if
or, like
anyone's
a party
ever
candidate.
been like as pathetically horny for anyone in the world as Trumpers are for Trump.
But I do think that it has become that for like Biden too recently.
So-
but that's like in
No.
response to Trump.
Yes, like I see a lot of, and I have friends who, like, in the primary voted for Biden, but I didn't, and I think my sense is most people voted. This sounds like this has been said a million times or whatever, but like most people voted against Trump versus for Biden. Mm-hmm. So I think that like a lot of like the Biden flags and everything is more like
an answer
Trump out
1,000%
flag.
If it was
But
anyone
there
else,
are also people that are like straight up always blue, like always blue, like always blue, always blue.
Oh yeah. I mean,
and that's just weird.
But
yeah,
that's like that's what most people do. Like if you are a registered Democrat, you vote all Democrat down the
Maybe
ballot.
I just
regardless.
don't like the party system.
I mean,
It sounds more like that.
I don't like
you
the party
shouldn't.
system.
You shouldn't. I mean, I'm registered independent because I registered based on the words of Chris Rock. Anyone who makes up their mind about something without hearing it is a fucking fool, and I strongly believe in that.
Another Cuomo moment.
And yeah, and I've always voted Democrat because Democratic candidates in my life have had more of a soul. But I mean, over the years, I've just moved further and further radical far left. So maybe I'm the wrong guy to talk to.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't buy into like subscribing to a party rather than like picking the best person.
Oh yeah, that's why a lot of people don't vote, and that's why this election shows how like on the same page everybody was with holy fuck. Not everybody, unfortunately, but
Clearly not everybody. Very close.
but like all of the good guys, like a lot of the good guys over the years have not voted because they don't like perpetuating a system that is one or the other, and ultimately both kind of keep the same groups of people down. So what's your way of not endorsing that? It's not participating in it. This election, though, I think people were like, Trump, like this is psychotic. I will participate in it just to make sure this fucking guy gets out. But I think now as Biden takes over, people are going to be like, yo, Biden, if we didn't have the Trump experience, like right now, would I be thrilled that Biden was the president? I think a lot of people who voted for Biden would tell you no, and they still want changes to be made and for, I don't know, to not have like a, what do they call Biden? Like a center. A lot of people just call Biden a Republican, but like moderate. I haven't used that term in forever.
Because now it doesn't feel like there is any moderate. It's like fucking like one end or the other. It is super polarizing.
Well, I feel like, well, on your point, I think the people who didn't vote are actually like the bigger problem. Like it took you this to get to the ballot box and like do your civic duty to put us in this position.
Sure, but I mean, if it depends on which groups of people you're talking about. Like I know a lot of middle class white people who are like, fuck the system, I'm not voting. And then
this is the first election that my mom has ever voted in.
Really?
Yeah, she told me that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until this election. She told me. She was like,
she works for the federal government.
I know.
And is that like a fuck the system, this is stupid kind
Basically,
of mindset?
yeah.
Okay, so I know a lot of people like that. And then a lot of minorities, I feel, don't benefit from either of these sides and say like, fuck this, like I don't want to participate in this because I don't want you to think that I'm endorsing this and I'm okay with this.
But it's like you can't beat this. Like the system is in place, so it's either you play with the system, or you don't. And if you don't, you have no say.
Yeah. Yes, but again, it's a chicken egg situation though,
Yeah.
where like the system has been bad and unfair to a lot of people. So I understand them not wanting to participate in it. But you're right. In not participating in it, chances are, like, if your vote would have been Democrat, then you're going to perpetuate an even worse system. And I think that the system had to get so bad that it had Donald Trump leading it for people to be like, okay, uncle, enough. Like,
also, like, the more white women, more black men, black women, Latino people, and Native Americans voted for Trump in this election than they did in the last election.
I know, it's wild.
So that also doesn't... only white men voted less for Trump this time around.
Which is
Hey,
like the
nailed
weirdest
it,
thing in
buddy.
the world. It makes me very uncomfortable that white men didn't fuck everything up.
Saved the day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sure, they fuck things up.
Well, I
less.
suppose since
Ultimately, though, like, black people saved the day this election. Like, Detroit,
Yeah,
Atlanta, like, huge fucking turnouts in places where... do you guys know who Vince Goodwill is? I was not familiar with his work. He was a sports writer, and he was on Brother from Another with Michael Hawley, and he was saying, like, a lot of places that, like, are people like to get their jokes off on Detroit, especially Detroit, but, like, there will be no Detroit jokes for a long time because Detroit kind of saved the day. I mean, honestly, you can point to whether it's Pennsylvania, Michigan, wherever, but, like, in the early going, when it was late Tuesday night, Michigan starting to turn was what, like, gave us all hope. I mean, that was... I'm stupid. I didn't take advantage of this. I know people who did. When Trump's odds were getting better and better and better after the red mirage, as they call it, the initial wave of all those votes from people who voted the day of the election, Biden was like plus 350. That's crazy.
yeah, it's just weird.
That's, so
it's
plus
weird.
350 is like bet.
Yeah, I would have bet a lot of money on that.
I was just mansplaining betting to you. I don't know why I was doing that.
No,
okay.
I had to explain betting to her. Like
I still don't
like
You
really-
mansplained it first?
Yes, I got there
The
first.
spread is very confusing still.
Yeah, no, it is confusing when you're getting into
I
it.
know plus is
Also,
good.
by the way,
You're right.
we're very much getting ahead of ourselves because it hasn't been called yet, and as we know, it's certainly going in one direction. But as we know, he's not going to go quietly.
Well, and like I don't know.
This is
like,
going to take forever.
I've been hurt before. Haven't we learned our lesson? Like something could happen.
I was devastated Tuesday night. I could not believe it. Around 9:15 when it started to turn the first time, meaning like we started to really think that that Trump was going to win again. I was like, I'm so stupid. Why did I think that people who voted for Trump and elected him weren't just going to fucking go vote for Trump? Like,
Yeah.
what Trump people have we heard of
That said, like,
that don't
yeah.
like Trump? I was like, they're all just going to fucking go back. And I just thought in my head, I was like, I just thought there was going to be this overwhelming turnout and that would favor Biden. And that was correct, but we just didn't know yet.
There is very little that feels worse than having faith in a country that has proven over and over and over again over like the past 4 years that they are so fucking
It
stupid.
will do the stupidest.
Yeah.
Give them the options. It'll take the stupidest one every time.
Don't you think like that? It's like I do find it unfair when people categorize like Republicans as like the mean, evil, racist.
I don't think that
sexist,
all Republicans are bad. I
stupid.
just think that a lot of Americans are fucking so stupid.
No, but there's like obviously there's something about Trump that speaks to that many people, and like obviously Trump is not a good person, and I don't like him personally, but like there's something about him that the Democrats are also not listening to because the Republicans did unreal in the rest of the elections down the ballot where they wouldn't have if Trump didn't also do well. Like Trump ushered in those people, and so there's something missing. We can't just both be like.
Well,
we're
I
the
just think
nice
it's like his
ones.
fuck you attitude that like appeals
No,
to
I mean,
so many people.
So I think I know that you're right. He is appealing to a lot of people, but I think that with Trump, you are allowed to play if you are siding with this guy, then you're either
there's something
brainwashed
wrong with
or
your brain.
a horrible
Yes.
person.
But don't you think there's like a certain amount of like elitism on the Democratic side?
Oh my God, of course.
For sure.
It's
I
brutal.
hate that. And like they focus much more on societal issues and like personal
Social issues.
social issues than things that directly affect people's pocketbooks, people's jobs. And I'm just playing
No, but that's what
here.
I'm going back to. I'm going back to like the sports thing where it's like you're so dug in on like your side, and you're like, my team's the best, my thing's the best, and like both sides are in on that, and they're not giving up any ground at all,
Right.
And it's like so infuriating. That's why I hate where we are right now. Because even the Democrats are very elitist. And like the Republicans, most of the Republicans, like are very fucking ignorant.
Yeah. I hear what you guys are saying, but I think that at the end of the day, it's important to know, like when you say like there's crazies on both sides, I think it's very much worth saying, but let's be clear.
Right. Well,
this side is clearly
Clearly
of a
more
higher
violent
quality of
and
person.
have shown themselves over and over again.
The difference there is that like the people on the right side are literally endangering people.
Right.
In the current situation.
Yes.
Literally endangering people.
And it doesn't help that you got a psycho who's basically calling people in these press conferences, whatever you want to call them, to go to those places. Like, I don't know if you guys were watching.
I'm sure I was.
See, right. So CNN on Wednesday night, Kyung Lao was reporting from, I think it must have been Arizona. I've slept like 1 hour this week, so I don't remember. I everything's blurring together, but she was at one of the ballot counting places, and they had to stop early.
Yes.
And go
Arizona.
home because there were people out, just a shitload of people with guns just fucking go outside and they're waiting and they got their flags and everything. Like, if you're in there counting ballots, I'd be scared shitless.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, are they gonna fucking come inside? What are they gonna do?
Yeah, they were talking about that.
That happened in Philly too, didn't it? Like they like stopped a plot in Philly.
Oh yeah, people went to Philly with. They had guns, but also I think the big thing was there was a Hummer.
Yeah.
And honestly, I know there's like a new Hummer and everyone's horny about it. If someone drives a Hummer to something, that's a red flag.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
For sure.
Apprehend that Hummer.
Yeah, and so Van Jones and Rick Santorum were going back and forth about the Arizona one because he was like, well, they have the legal right to carry guns, which they do, and like obviously us in Massachusetts have a very different view on guns than the people in Arizona do, but Van Jones is like, if those were a bunch of black people showing up with guns, like this would not be the same discussion,
right?
And it's like that is fair.
Van Jones,
also, like, I don't have a problem. I don't
Santorum.
necessarily like have a problem with guns. It's just like the people that are using guns to intimidate other people.
You have the right to carry it. I see that, but like you don't need to be carrying it there.
They're big on brandishing. They don't like to carry so much as they like to brandish.
True. Yes.
So now that we've gotten to CNN, let's talk about really the only thing
we should also talk about the fact that we've had very different weeks because I have not watched anything.
That's crazy to me.
I took some time off from work because I had days piled up and I just wanted to use them. And as it turns out, like my editor gave me this week off, and I had from like Tuesday to Sunday, and so it just worked out perfectly that I can just fucking turn everything off, not pay attention to any of it, and that's what I've done.
If that was you or me, we would have just been like, great, I can watch TV.
Right, exactly. I would have taken the week off and been like, sweet.
We would have done the
I'm
exact
doing this.
same thing and not worked.
I've just chipped away at work while I've been doing all these things.
That's really what it feels like, yeah.
Would have been a wasted week for you guys.
It hasn't been good.
I
barely have even seen him.
I know, it's been great.
I've been watching only news.
I've slept.
Not for that reason. Sorry.
I sit in my living room all day watching it nonstop. Then at like usually 4 or 5 in the morning, I go to bed and turn the TV on in there and just keep watching, like not trying to fall asleep. I'm just watching in bed. At some point, I fall asleep. Then I wake up at usually 9-ish or something, and I still feel after getting like an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep, and I feel so far behind.
Yes.
I'm like, I missed 600 votes coming in Nevada. Are you fucking kidding me?
And I feel like I'm going, I've said this a million times, but like I feel like I'm going through a breakup. Like I feel like I can't sleep. I feel like I'm only focused on one thing. Like nothing else matters.
Yes.
And here I am.
I can't believe it's Friday. That's crazy.
Yes. I haven't slept. Like my body hurts.
My back has hurt the whole week.
It kind of is just like, what does that do for us?
I know.
Like we are not.
I also
reporters.
can't believe it's Friday because I've just lost track of time streaming video games.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
It is awesome.
I went outside for like a little bit one day and I missed Biden's speech and I was like, what the hell? And then maybe it was Wednesday night. I was like, this is a logical night for me to not watch all this for a while because we're not going to find
Yes.
anything important out. So I just watched it for like 8 hours. I just did
I don't
exactly
know.
what I was going to
I
do
don't
anyway.
get like what you're watching though, because it all comes in so slowly.
I am so glad you asked. Here's what we're watching.
The people.
We watch John King. He's the GOAT. We all know it. Shout out MSNBC fan. Everyone likes Kornacki. I'll go with the King over the cornball. Just my personal opinion. I do think the Kornacki obsession
More like Kornacki.
call him the cornball. Love him, but I think that the Kornacki obsession that we're seeing on social media is a bit forced, and it's a please like my magic screen guy.
Yeah.
I think it's people see that like John King is getting all this love, rightfully so.
Yes.
And to the people who've been watching MSNBC, and I flip back and forth. Again, company man, love me everything with the peacock on it. People who are partial to him are like, you guys all have to know this guy's the best one.
Also,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Also, stonks on magic boards way up. And
Skyrocketing.
I gotta ask, what is the difference between the political magic screens and the sports magic screens? Because the sports magic screens never
Impossible
fucking
to
work.
operate.
Never
Impossible to
fucking work.
operate.
Trying to watch a sports guy fucking push the screen, is it the operator or is it the board? Because it is infuriating. They hit the same thing like 7
Yes.
times and then they drag it to the wrong place.
The
They,
best
like,
part of the
circle and have to
pandemic has been
erase.
I have not had to use a touchscreen. And when you first start using touchscreens, you're like, this is cool. I'm going to be like John King. And then it's exactly that. You're like, oh, you're touching it? Hey, oh, wait, don't touch it for 5 seconds now. Yeah, this is still all on TV. Yep, don't touch it. Now touch the bottom thing. Now switch it over back to it. Now go to a different screen. Now come back to it. Now it should have reset. Now don't touch it. And
Yeah, you touch like the bottom left screen. Somehow it's writing up in like the right hand corner, and it's like, well, this calibration is clearly off. The political screens work perfectly.
John King is
Yeah.
like making beats. He's like doing
Yeah.
everything.
And I've seen like the ones where like they're choosing the states and like the count is going up as they touch the
Yeah.
state. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think they only allow John King to touch it. Like, don't you feel like he sat through like a meeting for like a week straight on how to properly use it?
the way I view it in my brain, and this isn't true, like
John King goes home with
think
that screen.
He built it. Yes. Like my thing, like he's like Doc Ock. Like
He uses his own tools.
It's like only his fingerprint.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he made this. He knows it better than anybody. It's incredible how intimately he knows this.
Every
And
4 years, the garage door goes up, like in Stranger Things with that scene with Randy.
Yes.
And then it's John King with the fucking he pulling off the welder's mask.
Yep.
And he's like, time to go to work.
working on the magic screen. And I got to shout out Phil Mattingly as well, because he operates it super well. I do have to correct you. Something you said that was wrong.
Phil
You said-
also touches it.
You said only John touches it, and I think by that you meant like only John and like the touchscreen operators touch
Yes.
it. But I must intervene because you and I both know, Ellen,
I sometimes forget about
someone who isn't supposed to touch it likes to
yes.
touch it here and there. This has been peak Chris Cuomo fucking shit up season, and maybe it's because he's come on at midnight every night, and I've been exhausted from not sleeping and just watching
I feel
this
like
constantly.
he has been too, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm delirious by the
Everybody,
time he comes on.
everybody who's doing the political coverage. I mean, if you guys are exhausted, those people are
I
just.
don't know. They look
but you're
fantastic.
right. John King, honestly, there are only two people who have come off as maybe a little not on the ball, and one of them is Chris Cuomo because wild card.
But even when he's not on the ball, he's on the ball because like, he's entertaining as fuck.
And the other is, I always forget her first name.
Is it the one with the
Baldwin.
Haley, that would be some great political coverage.
What's her name? Is it?
She's blonde.
Is it Kate Baldwin?
She's the one standing outside the Philadelphia County one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's Kate Baldwin. Hopefully, I didn't get that wrong. I mean, or maybe for her sake, hopefully I did, because I'm going to say that she's seemed a little like not as sharp as everybody else. But
Yes.
and I only noticed this because everyone
Is a robot.
distractingly on it. Like John King is.
Yeah, and it's like
he's-
day
he never-
5.
He's never misspoken. He hasn't
Nope.
messed anything up. And everybody, my guy Harry Enton, He's chiming in at every possible time. He's got all the information. Everybody, even Wolf seems pretty sharp.
Wolf's a seasoned veteran.
I don't like how Wolf is speaking to John King sometimes.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big Wolf guy.
I'm neutral.
I watched like a tiny bit, and what was the county that we were watching the other day with the guy with the swoopy long hair?
Gary?
No, like the guy who did the podium speech. He was running the polling center.
I think that was Nevada.
That was Nevada. It was unbelievable. This guy was giving a press conference, and you could tell that he is like
had it
48 hours past having it, and he was giving a press conference, and he was given such attitude, but his hair was looking great, and like people were asking him questions. He's like, "As I just answered, like." 5 minutes ago.
I don't know how many fucking times I've done
Yes.
it. Is anyone here with me? Like, am
that
I
guy was
alone
electric.
Here? Yeah.
And also,
great.
Gary, who was reporting live from that area, was just like totally invasive, was going over to like some woman who
said, we're not supposed to talk to these people,
but I'm going to go over here anyway.
And then he got pushed away, and he was like, I feel really bad
he was
about
like,
that.
No, but he was like, ma'am, what are you doing over here? She was like, I'm fucking working, Gary. And he was like, I just got pushed away, and now I feel really bad because I clearly was not supposed to do anything in there.
That's amazing. That's journalism 101. Hey,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm supposed to do
be
this.
here, but let's
I'm
go.
just going to try.
I got to do it.
Follow me.
You guys see me do it? Yeah, I mean, there have been some real here. If we're doing like Stonk Watch for CNN people, maybe it's because like she was in harm's way and I was like kind of scared for her.
Yeah.
Kyung La stonks up. There's I don't know his name. Well, there's a guy on there who I don't know what his job is, and I don't know if he's made any points that I've necessarily cared about. But he looks like a young David Byrne. I like that guy.
Anderson Cooper, Stonks went down when he said clitter. Stonks back up when he made the turtle analogy.
Yes.
I was very shocked by that. Like, I know he's a commentator, but like the fact that he's like a political reporter,
yeah.
like a very extraordinarily well-respected political reporter.
I wondered how
really
people
plays
would take
both sides of the coin, I think.
I wondered how people would take obese turtle. I'm like, could have said turtle, Anderson.
Yeah, that's
Seemed like an unnecessary detail.
Interesting. You went. Interesting. You were a bit extra descriptive.
yes.
Anderson Cooper definitely plays both sides of the coin because, like, he is a serious political commentator, and then he also gets fucking shit-faced on New Year's Eve on TV.
I also went to see him for like Anderson and Andy Cohen did a thing together where they just basically came on stage, drank, and talked about like their adventures.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah,
sounds
it
like
was
the best.
fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Anderson.
Yeah, same.
I'm as CNN hosts go. This is going to surprise people. Cuomo's not even my number one.
Who's your number one?
Is it Don Lemon?
Don Lemon.
Don Lemon is not my number one.
I love Don Lemon.
Cuomo's got to be my favorite. He's just like, that guy can't lose.
We were
'Cause when he
talking
sucks, he's still so fucking funny.
So we were talking
He's
about
really
like
funny.
relationship material with the CNN hosts.
Oh, right, yeah.
And Don Lemon is like, you want to have like the best life partner and like have a good life. Don Lemon's your guy. You want to have like a short, chaotic relationship that will forever change your makeup.
Like maybe
Chris
end up in
Cuomo's.
jail every other weekend.
I saw, who was it? One of our friends, a sports writer, I'm forgetting which one it is, so I don't want to say the wrong guy, tweeted like, man, I'd love to have John King's Venmo because I'd love to buy that guy a beer. And I want to quote tweet it with like,
I'd love to pay for Chris Cuomo's bail.
I want to say like I'd like to pay for Chris Cuomo's cocaine.
Oh my god.
It would be my honor, sir. Sir, I would be honored.
Who's the
if
one?
I could buy your drugs.
Who is the one that people have been telling us to get on Brunch?
Okay, I'm so excited. You haven't been watching anything, and
He has
you
no
just
idea.
Phil,
He has not a clue.
Phil Mattingly. So at midnight, they hand it over. They give the keys to just a really stacked show, host-wise.
Yes.
It's Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo. So at all times, one of those two is either leading a panel or at the magic screen.
Because they're not doing their regular shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Phil Mattingly takes over for John King at the magic screen.
Okay.
And Phil Mattingly is a handsome guy in his 30s who really sharp, really knows his stuff, very much on the ball.
Very much like I'm young and I got this job.
Right, like he is professional.
So he's
maybe to a fault.
So he's like Field Yates.
Well, we're
So
about to make fun of him, so we don't want to.
Right, I was going to say
But like all of that sounds like Field.
handsome dude in
Like
his 30s.
on the ball, very professional.
Right. Field will fuck around a little more.
Yeah,
than this
for
guy
sure.
will.
Well, that's because we know Field.
right. So, and I bet, you know what? I bet off camera, I bet that
Phil can get down?
I bet that if you give Phil like a month off and like really remove him,
That's true.
really like soak all of the professionalism out of him, because I bet he's also, now we're just like doing CNN fanfic. If you really,
Speaking of fanfic,
he's probably got like a lot of like work related anxieties.
Oh,
and,
like he is like can't even like
I have to
bend
do this.
over. He's so anxious.
Yes, so
like his muscles are so tight.
So you kind of pull for him, but also every time he's at the magic screen, he's there with Cuomo. And guess who's not all about just getting in and out, being professional, just facts, some analysis. Like, honestly, we were talking about this. Yeah, I see myself in probably some people you don't want to see yourself in. Like when I watch The Office, I'm like, I have a lot of Michael Scott in me. When I watch Chris Cuomo with that smirk on his face, knowing that he is just fucking shit up, I'm like, Chris, why are we this way?
I know. When you were saying that last night, I was like, this is you, DJ. Like,
and I hadn't even brought that up yet.
Yeah.
I was like, he does this, he does this, he does this.
was
And
like,
I was like, well, this is why you like him.
Well, my first question now is like, why were people telling us to have that guy on?
because DJ.
They just want to see exactly what they're seeing.
I'm like a Cuomo and Phil, as I call him the boy, because clearly Chris, like I bet Chris does not know his name. He's like, here's the kid that I'm just gonna fuck with for the next 6 hours on television.
Yeah, probably for the next 15 years.
That's become so as part of your just playing video games this week, you haven't really been on Twitter.
Yep.
My beat this week has been Chris and the boy.
Yeah.
Like people, as soon as midnight comes up, like people are texting me, like, "You ready?"
Your guys
And I'm
are
like,
here.
Yep, I'm all primed up and ready to go. I just sit there with my phone, take little videos, because inevitably he does some shit that's going to either fuck with Phil or fuck with somebody else. He was on a panel the other night, and someone was like, "There's a narrow path to victory," and Cuomo said, "I sport New Balances to avoid a narrow path." Who said that? And everybody was like, don't know. One person was like, oh, like one of my relatives works for New Balance or something. And he was like, I love you. Don't care. Which rapper said it? It was Phife Dog.
This is Chris Cuomo being like, I thought I was going to have the week off.
Right.
Because my show has been canceled. And they pulled me in for an overnight shift every single day.
And then last night, he started off another one of the shows. He was like, let's go over to the magic screen. Phil, you're too young to understand this, but, and then he just makes a reference. And Phil's just standing there like kind of uncomfortable smile, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I know so much about these counties.
Yeah. Well, he's also like the exact thing you're not supposed to do as a reporter. Like you're supposed to lay up so like the next person can like jump on and be like, yeah,
Right.
you're right, Chris. And he comes
A lot
over
of
and
yes
he's like,
and.
yeah. He's like, bet you don't know what I'm about to say right now.
Yes.
dunking on the guy he's working with.
I'll have to show you after, Pete. My phone is full of these
God.
funny interactions between Chris Cuomo and this poor kid. And he's probably like 35. He's older than us. So
But
I don't
he looks
disrespectfully
really
call him
young.
the kid.
Yeah, I
He
mean, like
looks
when you
really
work in
young.
politics and you're like you're below 40, you're basically a kid.
Well, he's on like CNN for this huge historic
Right.
election. Like this is unreal for his career. Like this is like a real lifting off point probably for him.
I was thinking that like CNN does have a lot of young people.
Yeah.
Caitlin Collins, super young. She can't be 30. She's probably 25, 26, 27,
they're
something like
young,
that.
yeah.
Abby Phillip, I think, is probably 30s.
Yeah.
Like probably our age, maybe pushing Phil Mattingly. But dude, you've just it's indescribable. And at first, I felt like I was alone watching. I thought that I was crazy and like detecting, like, because the first night, Mattingly clearly wanted to fucking kill Cuomo. He kept interrupting him, and he was mainly asking questions that like worked for me because I was very, very tired after watching election stuff all day. These guys had just kind of started their shift, though. So, like, they were supposed
Mattingly
to be
is like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. And Cuomo at one point says, so when you keep saying mail, I just want to clarify, you mean mail as in the ballots were sent in the mail? And Mattingly's like, yes. Yeah, this whole election is about like mail-in ballots, and he's like, okay, so we're not talking about like male and female ballots. These are, and there's that little bit of confusion of like, are you trying to clarify for everybody, or for like the last 5 minutes when they were saying mail a bunch, were you not so sure that mail-in ballots were ballots that were sent in the mail? He's so great.
He also does unreal hurricane coverage. Have you ever watched a Cuomo hurricane?
No.
It's so good because he obviously is very proud of how in shape he is.
I had not noticed that.
Yes, he very often makes sure to like be drenched, to like soaking wet with a t-shirt on, and then he'll just be like, I remember one hurricane coverage. He was outside and he was like, it's getting dangerous out here. People aren't here, blah, 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 blah. And then you just see a guy walking a 3-legged dog like behind him, like perfectly fine. He's like, hey, what are you doing out here? And then like 2 days later, he saw him again. He's like, hey, it's my friend with the 3-legged dog.
Oh, I buy that absolutely.
Yeah.
I bet that Cuomo's Christmas card game is off the charts because every person that guy has met. So he's fucked up most of the names of most of the people he's had on. I tweeted that last night and someone responded. They were like, he's tired. He's doing his best. I'm like, I am not complaining about
that's
this
just a fact.
at all. Right. He's like,
He's
okay.
doing the old Ron Swanson. He's making sure that the people know that he doesn't really care about them.
Right. So no, he does care so much, but he's probably tired or whatever. But it's so funny because he's so nice. When he says goodbye to any guest, you got to add like another minute to any block he's doing, because it's going to end with him saying, Pete, thank you so much. You're doing important work out there. It's scary work and it's tough work that you're doing, but don't think for a second we're not noticing how important it is for our network and, more importantly, for our country. Pete, I love you. Anytime you want to come back on, you just call, and we're going to put you right back on. We have all this program stuff. We got a rundown we've got to get to. A lot of people are being paid to be here. I will skip right over them and fuck up this entire show to have you on. The second you want to be
out
on.
of here.
I was telling you guys this before we started recording. Last night, they were supposed to throw to Trump sound, and he was like, okay, we're going to bring in so-and-so now. Nope. We're going to bring in so-and-so. I'll tell you what, I'm not tossing to the Trump sound, and obviously you can't hear the producers, but they're talking to him saying like, toss a Trump, and he's just saying like right in front of the TV, no, I'm not doing that. We're not tossing a Trump sound because the Trump sound is pointless because he didn't say anything that makes sense. I want to get somebody who knows what they're talking about. Okay, let's bring in this guy. Hey, thank you for joining us. You're doing very hard work. It's hard work, but it's good work, and we love you. But like this guy, he's a machine, but like kind of a broken machine, and I love it so much.
I would love that kind of job security.
He said on either a radio show or a podcast or something during the pandemic, he was like, I don't need to be doing this forever. Like I have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And honestly, like sometimes I question if I enjoy it. And I mean, he's got to be, I think that he comes from a very good place, but he's got to be a bear to produce.
Oh my
like I'm sure
God.
CNN people are like, yo, this guy does a great job, but
He would be
we've all got to get
awful.
on the same page here.
Yeah.
Because, which to that I say like
Like I bet
yo, then get on his page. Like the show's
Right,
about him.
Right.
Behind the scenes, I bet like the producers, like when they get assigned to him, they're like, "Oh my god, I got fucking Cuomo." Today.
Right. It's gonna take a year off my life.
Right.
Was it you? We were saying like there's probably like a designated intern for him to just like punch in the face between like at every commercial break.
He like asks him for coffee, and they bring him coffee, and he just throws it in their face, and he's like, "All right, good,
Like he's
I'm good to
flipping
go."
tables on this one guy. Yeah.
Right. He's like that idiot that Did you see the video of the girl that just like was screaming at a cop and like spitting
Oh,
his face
yeah,
and everything?
yeah.
Like, so that
The worst
that
person.
that person fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But I think that's what he does. He's like, okay, Jimmy, bring over the coffee, and Phil Mattingly is like, it's Phil, and you know it's Phil.
And I'm working with you on the other side of the board tonight.
Oh my god, dude! Maybe people won't like this. Viewers, listeners, text into the buzz whether or not you like this, because this show is clearly just Ellen and I telling stories of
me.
things that he did
watched.
last night. He does the block with Phil, and they're at the touchscreen, and then he's like, "Okay, now let's talk to whomever." They bring the person on. I think he got her name right. It's a big score for Cuomo. And she says, "Oh, well then, and then you've also got to consider in this county that this is happening." And he goes, "Huh, Phil, I'm here with Phil Mattingly," and the shot is just
His face.
him. It's just Cuomo and the guest. Phil is not in this segment, and he's like, "Phil, so and so, let's say her name's Ellen. Like, Ellen, I'm here with Phil Mattingly," and like, this guest probably doesn't know who Phil Mattingly is, and he's like, "I'm here with Phil Mattingly. He's operating the touchscreen here. Phil, what do you think of that?" And someone put it yesterday, like, he's like sitting there, like he's probably like eating Skittles or something. Like it's like he's like 3 minutes off.
Yeah, he probably took his mic off.
Right, like he's
the audio
not
guy's
listening.
not ready.
Right,
Kid's
he's
eating his Dunkaroos.
totally. He's not listening, and he's like, "Phil, what do you think of that?" And they just like move the camera, like it's all like wobbly. They just like move it over to Phil, and Phil's like, "What?" It was great, and he played it off. Because this kid's so fucking professional. He's like, "Well, your guest is talking about Nevada, so here's some information I have about Nevada," just to like kind of try to stay afloat during it. But he just totally fucking threw him under the bus. I made a meme of it. I did like when Phil isn't in the block. And it was the nut button thing with like, ask a question of Phil, bringing in, ask Phil a question, forcing him into the block. It's amazing. He fucking torments the guy.
That poor control room that just wants you, like, we're doing a split screen. We're on a split screen.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Phil's in the studio somewhere. Like, that was never going to work.
Yeah, we did. We had that at my place of work after a Patriots game recently. So like we do the Patriots pre and post game show, and there's like the main group of people, and then I'm kind of the Harry Enton,
Yes.
where they're like, when we need him, we'll ask him a question, and then he'll just kind of like yell back at us with bad posture. Shout out Harry. But they were talking about the bad quarterback player. It's, Cam Newton had a terrible game, and Tommy Curran was like, "Well, like we've got the resident Brady hater here, so like I'm just wondering." He had a question like what does DJ think of this or whatever, and they just were not programmed to do that. But I was like ready to go and everything, and so I'm like answering, like mics aren't on.
No,
it was just like you can't do that.
You can't just do that. There's
like I loved it. I was like, "Yo, let's do that every time," and even if it looks bad, I'm totally down. But I imagine like everybody else is like, "Hey, got to give a heads up if we're gonna got to give a heads up if you're gonna do something like that." Cuomo, without fail, doesn't fucking care. He's like every time. He's like,
They probably
if I can get someone
the guy,
on
they're like,
speakerphone-
"Don't go off this. Do not go off this." And he's like, "Challenge accepted."
Oh, right. I imagine like the producers try to even like lead the conversation a little bit and be like, "Ask about this, ask about this," but he's just looking at the screen with like a little bit of confusion. And he's like, "So which one's that one?"
Yeah.
That's
I would love to see a block of him just asking what state is which.
Oh, dude, one of my notes for this show was like, we've got to make a show. We got to do a show where one of us is tasked with just teaching everybody about something. So like, for example, like I'm on this big Beach Boys kick. All right, we're going to do a whole show where I'm going to tell everybody everything I've learned about the Beach Boys. And you don't learn anything about the Beach Boys, haven't learned anything about the Beach Boys, might not even know who the Beach Boys are, but you chime in a lot. And
And you're confident.
And you're right. And you just like confidently kind of change the subject. Like
Margaritaville.
Yeah.
That's the Beach Boys, right?
right. You ever been to the Margaritaville restaurant? And that's without you having even said anything about Margaritaville yet. And I'm just like aghast. I have no idea what to do with it. That's what the dynamic is between these two people.
I'm into it.
And it's so good. Dude, I'm gonna text you some of these greatest hits, but it's a fucking party.
Ellen brought up job security earlier. Like, what do these people do for like 3 years in between elections?
I do wonder that, and I hate to like
still like have
Yeah,
a
like,
politics.
but like John King, like
He's still a reporter,
right.
is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are people like the guy, I forget his
Like
name.
the consultants.
So like
and
John
stuff
King is
don't-
like Mel Kiper, where it's
Right.
like he's still doing football stuff, but like the draft is his fucking bread and butter.
Right, good way of putting it. Yeah, but I do wonder, like, not to count people's money, but I do wonder, like,
Is he
which of these
making
people
more
are
money?
full time, and like which of these people? I'm sure that a lot of those people are freelance, right?
And they
Oh,
just make
yeah,
it, and they just make like
definitely.
a shitload of money like this week.
Yeah.
because they're being employed
Yeah.
quite a bit.
I would
Yeah.
I would hope so. Like, I don't know what.
I think that's most reporters.
Right. Like, I don't know what Harry Enton's gig is, and I don't know how well CNN pays or anything, but
Yeah.
like, he should. I think, and I don't think they use him as well as they could. But I think that like he brings a lot of value to being there. So like,
Yeah.
if he's like normally just like a political writer for them, and like he writes for their website, which is, I think that's his gig, right? He's like I think he's just like a political writer. Everything.
Yeah, I think
if
so.
he's gonna be on the election coverage, that's pretty freaking
That's-
huge.
yeah, that's very
Right.
big.
Right. So that should, I don't know. They should get bonuses, and then Cuomo should
Take
get like
them all.
a $10 million bonus.
No, he should just take their bonus. That seems more on brand for him.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's like, I'm going to take this. They
He-
gave this to you, but it's mine now.
He like walks over to the Cubbies, like cuts in front of Phil Mattingly, takes it right out, like crosses out the name,
And
changes
just
it.
rips it up and
Yeah.
puts it down.
Hey, good work, kid. We're gonna need you again the next 4 years. So you gotta toughen up. You gotta put in the work. It's good work. It's not gonna be easy work, but it's important work. And I love you, and everybody loves you. But look, sometimes you're not very fun. And, and he's like 8 minutes into this like spiel. He has no idea where the conversation started.
Yeah.
And Phil Mattingly's like,
Can I go?
I was just trying to get my check.
Yeah.
Like I had a candy bar over here.
Yeah, and he was just like this. He's like, I thought this was my dream job. I dreamt of this job since I was a child.
I'm not trying to like get into people's lives or anything, but you know that like he has to be so worked up after those shifts. He has to be like, did I do a good job? Like, what was I even doing?
Right.
Well, I mean, even from I've never seen this guy and I don't know anything about him, but from the description, it just sounds like it's literally all he's ever worked for in his entire life, and it's all that he ever thinks about.
Well, that's the narrative I've put in my head. I know nothing else about him.
I'll say this: he's very in shape. I think it would do him good. Maybe skip the gym a couple times a week. Maybe either like lose a little weight, gain a little weight, something like. I think that it would help him with his Cuomo dynamic to not be an in shape guy,
and he's
right?
Like that. Well, I think Cuomo views him as his like future replacement.
Totally. I bet, and I just knowing how the media works and how
Right.
people's brains get, he's probably like,
It's a young guy.
this
It's a
fucking
real-
boring ass place thinks this fucking guy can do better than me.
Right.
Huh. I'll fucking show them.
Yeah.
And so he just beats this kid up for like 4 hours.
Right.
And Phil Mattingly's like, yo, what the hell, dude? Like, I'm so happy I look up to you. Like, I'm
Right,
so
right.
happy
What
to
did
work
I
with you.
do to you?
It's like, oh, they think this fucking this vanilla thing is gonna come in here and take my job,
Right.
And probably could not be further from the truth.
CNN's
Never
probably
happening now.
we love you, Chris. Just please stop throwing shit on the wall.
Oh, dude, he won't stop doing that. When we've all known that the two states that would just do it were Arizona and Nevada. As long as those held once Wisconsin and Michigan flipped, Biden was good. And like late Wednesday night, we're 30 hours into this now, 35 hours into this. Phil's showing all the different machinations, and he's like, but again, we are talking ourselves into a lot of things, but you remember, Biden can lose Pennsylvania. He can lose Georgia, and like Cuomo's face is starting to like turn a little bit like, uh-oh, I think he's wrong. And he's like, because as long as he has Nevada touches Nevada, Arizona touches Nevada, Arizona, he gets a 270. And the thing on the screen changes to like 270, like the little confetti comes down.
It's like Biden wins.
It says like Biden
That's
would
what
win.
I'm talking about, the
That would
touch
be
screens.
270.
Fucking, they know.
And Cuomo goes, wait, even if... And Madeline's like, even if he doesn't win those other states, as long as he gets these two, he gets a 270. And Cuomo's like he knew that, like, he's like, well, I've had this explained to me twice now, so I can't go in for a third time. So he just like nods. He nods at Phil, and then Phil continues to talk, and Cuomo turns to the screen and just like stares at it like, I'm still not so sure about this.
And there's nothing worse than being in a conversation with someone you know is like way light years smarter than you.
Yeah.
And that is that conversation.
Which I get into. I have a tough time with like Cuomo's smarts, because I think that he's very smart. I think he gets. I think he's very easily distracted, and I think this is where I see some of myself in him. I think that a lot more of the shit that he does is tongue in cheek than people think. Like, I think that when he's fucking with people just a little bit, he's knowingly doing that.
Well, he also wants to be like, I'm just a guy. I'm from New York.
Oh my God, does he love to do that?
Yeah, he wants to be that guy.
Did you see when John King?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm going to say? So they're talking about Biden needed to get like 62% of the incoming votes in Pennsylvania, and he'd flip the state eventually. So these batches keep coming in, and they're like 80%, 75%, whatever. And John King kept saying, like, let's still keep with that number at like 62 or whatever, but knowing it is actually lower than that now because he's gotten so much higher percent of the vote. So as long as that pattern stays, sorry, I'm from Boston. And then like kept going. It was amazing.
It was very nice. He was like, sorry, my Boston accent came out a little bit.
He said pattern.
Right. Well, I mean,
Do you feel like you like missed like a lot of good TV this week?
Yeah, but I wouldn't trade it because I had a lot of fun playing video games.
I fucking played video games, bro. I can fucking tell you, I fucking won those games, by the way. No one fucking asked me.
On Tuesday night, I was like, I have to just like put myself to bed. If anything major happens, you need to wake me up. So he wakes me up at 3:30 in the morning, and he's like,
I got under par.
And I'm like, I wake up like, like I'm ready to hear that Trump is president. And then he's like, Trump's talking about how he's claiming victory. And I was like, but did he?
Were you awake for that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was like throwing things. I was so mad during
It was a big thing. She was like,
okay, I just woke up and you were like, he's saying he claimed victory, which in my mind means.
But I followed. I said he's claiming victory, but he like isn't. He's not.
And then you rattled off like 19 other facts that like everyone had known for the past like 3 weeks. Like,
sorry,
Pennsylvania, or we need this.
You
or we
asked.
need Georgia.
Yeah.
like, okay, so it's down to Biden and Trump. Sorry, Joe.
Bernie's
it ain't
out.
happening. Yeah.
Bernie has conceded.
Like, welcome to the past 24 hours.
Well, I mean, I feel like the president of the United States claiming that he won the presidency when he in fact did not win the presidency is a big enough story to wake you up for.
I don't think
He like
so.
shakes you. He's like, hey, a bunch of kids are tweeting pictures of their ballots at Kanye West saying, "Notice me, King." No good. All right, check back in a few minutes. That scared me. Did you see everyone was tweeting at Kanye? Like,
Yeah.
I voted for you. Notice me, King.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, isn't it illegal to take a picture of your ballot?
It is in Massachusetts.
Oh, that's interesting.
I see
Yeah.
a lot of people doing that. I'm like,
I don't know what the rules are everywhere, but yeah.
Is it illegal to pull your pants down while filling out a ballot? Because did you see that picture?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Picture?
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Some guy-
isn't
some guy-
that like indecent exposure?
Not is
And
is it
private.
if you're surrounded by a curtain?
Yeah.
I don't know.
are-
You're usually doing it at a school, though.
Right. Oh, that's true. I mean, for so
Not
many reasons, it's
necessarily.
not a good idea.
Wait, why
I mean,
did
I'm
you
not saying
pull
it's a
his
good
pants down?
idea. I don't know. That's the question. There's just a picture of a guy in a voting booth.
And he
with,
took a selfie?
No, somebody took a picture from outside of the booth because you could clearly see that his pants were around his ankles.
Yeah.
Was it an old man?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, he might have just,
Might have just fallen down.
yeah, they might have just
Or
fallen
else-
down, pants on the ground.
Maybe he was
Pants on ground?
Maybe he was taking it for the OnlyFans.
Oh my god.
I voted.
OnlyFans. Speaking of, so you said Massachusetts. You said, I'm pulling the Cuomo here. You said Massachusetts. You said only. What do we think of only in Boston?
Oh, the worst.
Have we done? Can we do this as like the latest
don't even know what
DJ
that
Bean
means.
decides
Only in
someone
Boss
else's
Twitter
Twitter
account?
account is bad?
Oh, the one.
Only
It's
in
been around
BOS?
forever,
Yeah.
hasn't it? Yeah.
That doesn't mean
Right.
it's good. I know a
It's
lot of
the
Twitter
worst.
accounts that have been around forever.
Like
and
yours,
suck.
yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
It's pretty bad.
I'm definitely not. I shouldn't be allowed to say like, hey, this Twitter account sucks. But actually, I don't know. Maybe it's like
It does suck.
I have a sucky Twitter account, so I'm like,
You're
I'm allowed
an expert on the matter.
right? I'm allowed to point out which other Twitter accounts are bad. So let's just say I identify strongly with only in Boston because I think that Twitter account sucks. None of the things are ever about like only Boston.
No. It's like office memes.
Right, totally. It'd be like one gotta go, and it's like a bunch of Jolly Ranchers flavors. I just always quote tweet it with only in
Only
Boston. Oh, you got us. What a bunch of Bostonians we are. I don't know. That's not a good Bostonian impression. I wouldn't want to do a good one. The Boston accents when they're
Leave it to
fake.
John King.
That's right.